The NBA playoffs are here, and in today's video, I'm going to give my predictions for how I think the NBA playoffs are going to end up playing out. So before this video does get started, make sure you guys hit that like button if you enjoyed, as it really helps out the channel. And also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and once I reach my goal, I am finally going to do a face reveal. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get this video started. Now first, I'm going to go over the east side of things, and then I'm going to go over the west side of things. So let's start off with the Eastern Conference with the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. And I have the Heat winning this series in 5 games. The Hawks, I mean, it has been a pretty disappointing season overall, even though they did go on a really good run at the end of the year to make the playoffs. However, I think the Heat are just a better team, and while there are a lot of people who think the Heat are frauds, I think they will get the job done. And the Hawks, it really feels like in a way they are carried by Trae Young, and while I think he will get them one victory, I don't think he will be able to win them this series, and I got the Heat winning this series in 5 games. After that, we got the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Chicago Bulls, and I got the Bucks winning this series in 5 games. The Bulls have really struggled in the second half of the year, especially against top teams, and their interior defense, it is not good, and they are up against Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think he is going to unleash all the hell on the Bulls. And also, you know, I don't think Lonzo Ball is going to be playing another game this year. So the Chicago Bulls, while I do think they will, someone like DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine, I mean, they are a pretty talented team. While I do think they will, get one game versus the Bucks, I don't think they will be able to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and I got the Bucks winning this series quite easily in 5 matches. Then we have the Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets, and I think there is a real possibility that the Nets do pull off the upset here, because even though they have been pretty underwhelming this year, there are a lot of reasons as to why. And now that they are kind of quote unquote pretty much fully healthy, they got most of their squad playing in. I mean, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, that is a scary ass duo to play against. And because of that, I think this will be a really close series. But I do have the Celtics winning this series in 6 games, because Boston, they have looked really good in the second half of the year, and I do think that Ime Udoka is gonna be able to be good enough to lead his team to beat the Brooklyn Nets. Again, I think it's going to be close, and I could really see Brooklyn pulling off the upset, but I got Boston winning this series in 6 games. And then to wrap up the first round, we got the 76ers versus the Raptors, and I can't lie, I could see Toronto winning, because the Raptors have been really good as of late. They made a rally all the way to the 5 seed, and also Doc Rivers is coaching in this playoff series, and if Doc Rivers is coaching, it does not matter what the seedings are. Anything is possible, because this guy is a master choke artist, and because of that, I think there's a real chance Philadelphia does lose, but I do have them winning in 7 games. The Raptors, don't get me wrong, they are a really good team, and I mean, again, I could see them winning, but they do lack depth, which is a real problem. And along with that, I don't know who's going to be able to guard Joel Embiid. They got a lot of good defensive players, like a lot of good defensive wings with great versatility, but that being said, I don't think they will be able to shut down Joel Embiid, and because of that, I have Philly winning in 7. Then we got the second round, and we got the Heat versus the 76ers, and I got the Heat winning in 6 games. Again, I know there are a lot of people who think the Heat are frauds, and I know there's going to be a lot of people who probably disagree with this pick, but look, man, I've given Doc Rivers way too many chances. I am not picking a Doc Rivers-led team to make it to the conference finals or beyond, because this man is a master choke artist, and I know he is gonna screw it up at some point. Whether it's the first round or the second round, he is gonna screw it up at some point, and I think he's gonna be the biggest factor as to why Philadelphia does lose this series. Nothing against Joel Embiid or James Harden or anyone on the 76ers. I mean, they could have a bad series. I mean, Harden, he has had some pretty big playoff collapses, but this is mostly the main reason why I'm picking the Heat to win is because of Doc Rivers. And I mean, the Heat, well, again, they are a boom or bust team, but I mean, they aren't really a bad team. So because of that, I do have them winning in 6. But the final second round matchup we have, it's the Bucks and the Celtics. And I think this is going to be a really, really tough and competitive series. It's going to be great, TV to watch. But I do have the Bucks winning in 7. I can understand if you do pick Boston. I mean, I did have a hard time, but I did pick the Bucks simply because, I don't know if Robert Williams is going to be playing. And, missing Robert Williams, especially against the Bucks, that is going to be a massive loss. If Robert Williams is not playing in this series, well, it's going to be really hard to shut down Giannis, because yes, they got guys like Al Horford, who is a good defensive player, but I don't know if he can shut down Giannis. And again, I think the Celtics are a great team because of that. I think they're pushing this thing to 7 games, but I think the Bucks are, I think they are around the same tier. And, again, Boston, who knows if they have Robert Williams. But onto my East Finals, we got the Bucks and the Heat, and I got the Bucks winning this in 5 games. The Heat, I think they're a decent team, but that being said, I don't know if they can win the finals, because, I do have some real concerns about their shot, their perimeter shot creation. Because, yes, Kyle Lowry does kind of solve that problem, but, he is kind of old, so who knows how well he can do it at a consistent rate. And it feels like sometimes Tyler Hero is their best shot creator, and that's not really something you really want. Plus, we saw what happened last year. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are not great shooters, and we saw what happened in the playoffs last year. The Bucks, they just sagged off them, and it worked. Those guys could not make a shot to save their damn lives, and because of that, Miami got their ass kicked. It could be different this time, but I do have the Bucks advancing on to their 2nd straight NBA Finals. Now we have the Western Conference, and starting off, we got the West first round with the Suns versus the Pelicans. Before I give my prediction, I do want to say that, congratulations to the Pelicans, because they have had a truly amazing season, but I do have the Suns winning this series in 4 games, because the Pelicans, yes, they have been really good and resilient this year, but I think the Suns are just flat out a much better team. I think they are, a little bit more talented. And I do think, even though Willie Green is a good head coach, I think Monty Williams is much better. And simply put, I think Phoenix is much better. And because of that, I got them winning this series pretty easily in 4 games. Then we got the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. And again, the Timberwolves, they've been an amazing story this year. And props to them for, making it to the playoffs. But I think the Grizzlies are the better team, and I got them winning this series in 5 games. John Morant, I think he is going to up his game in the playoffs, and I think Mitty is going to make this series somewhat competitive, and they could actually push this thing to maybe 6, maybe even 7 games. But I think the Grizzlies are just a better team, and Minnesota, they are a little bit inexperienced, when it comes to the playoffs. So because of that, I got Memphis winning. After that, we got the Warriors versus my Denver Nuggets, and as a Nuggets fan, I don't even know what to expect of this team, heading into the playoffs, because of, it all just comes down to health. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know if Jamal Murray is going to be playing in the playoffs. And, as much as I want to pick my Denver Nuggets, I got to pick the Warriors to win this series in 6 games. I think Nikola Jokic will be good enough to win this at maybe at least 1 or 2 games. But that being said, I don't think he can really carry us. It's nothing against him, because Nikola Jokic is my favorite player in the NBA, but I just don't think he can really single-handedly win this series, without some help. And it's going to be really hard to, stop the Warriors, because the Warriors are a damn good team. And then to wrap up the first round, we got the Mavericks versus the Jazz, and Luka's injury, it really does, complicate things, but I do think the Mavericks will win this series in 7 games. I could see Utah winning simply because of Luka Doncic's injury, but I got the Mavericks winning because I do think Luka will be playing. I think he is going to be playing, at least a couple of games in this series. And while I do think he'll miss, at least 1 or 2 games, I think he'll come back. And the Utah Jazz, man, they have not been good in the second half of the year. And along with that, man, I mean, they just don't have any good perimeter defenders, and I think the same thing is going to happen. You know, they have to put Rudy Gobert out there, but he's just not going to be as effective defensively because, you know, he's just not the best perimeter defender, you know, and I do think Utah will make it competitive, but I do have the Mavericks winning this thing in 7 games. Then we got the West second round. We got the Suns and the Mavericks, and I got the Suns winning this in 6. The Dallas Mavericks have been pretty good in the second half of the year, but the Suns, they're the better team, and although I think Dallas will make this, you know, kind of competitive, I think the Suns are the better team. So because of that, I have them winning in 6. Then we got the Warriors and the Grizzlies, and you know, the Grizzlies, they have been fantastic this year, but I will pick the Warriors to win this because they are the more experienced team. Plus, I do believe that when fully healthy, the Warriors are the better and more talented team. And because of that, I do have them winning this thing in 6 games. That being said, Memphis, they could win this series for sure. And, I mean, I think they will make this series competitive, but I think the Warriors are a little bit better of a team when healthy. So I got the Warriors winning in 6, and that sets us up with the West Finals of the Warriors versus the Suns. And this series, it could go either way. I mean, I'll admit, I had a really hard time deciding who was gonna win, but I am gonna pick I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Phoenix Suns to win this series in 7 games. Again, it was really tough, but the reason why I'm going to be picking Phoenix is largely due to the fact that, you know, I think DeAndre Ayton is going to have a really good playoffs, and I do think he will be the thing that does get Phoenix, you know, over the hump, because yes, we know that the Warriors, they're known for not having the best centers and all, and I mean, it has worked out in the past, and you know, and I think they will, again, I think they will make it to the West Finals and all, but that being said, you know, DeAndre Ayton, he is a really good player, and I think he'll turn it on in the playoffs, and I just think that Golden State's, you know, lack of, you know, really good centers is gonna really hold them back in this series, and because of that, I do have them losing in 7. That being said, I can actually see the Golden State Warriors winning this series, but I do have the Suns winning, and that sets us up with the NBA Finals of the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks, a rematch from last year, and it was really tough, but I'm gonna go ahead and have the Phoenix Suns, you know, get their revenge versus the Milwaukee Bucks, and I got them winning this series in 7 games with the Finals MVP of Devin Booker. Look, man, I know that the Milwaukee Bucks are a really good team, but that being said, I am a little bit concerned about their depth, and along with that, Phoenix has looked really good this year. And I do think that, you know, the Phoenix Suns, I mean, last year, I mean, they were a little bit inexperienced heading into the playoffs. However, a lot of the guys, they performed very well. And I think with a little bit more experience that they're going to actually perform, you know, around the same level, if not a little bit better. And because of that, I do have the Suns, you know, end up winning the finals. But that's all I got to say for today's video. I mean, let me know what you guys think. But thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. Again, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and also check out my social media in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.